Hey friends, I'm Will of Wilbur, and this is the inside the song for every tree. Let's just get right into it because, in the interest of keeping things manageable for myself, I don't intend to do. I don't want to. I don't. I don't like to do the jump cuts, like cutting out the awkward pauses, because authenticity is important to me, and my awkwardness is a part of my authenticity. And same with my spaciness. So I appreciate your patience. And if I talk a bit slow for you, you could put the video speed at maybe like 1.1 speed. Like there's a little slider scale. I don't know. Just a thought. Anyways, this is I had originally been intending to make this series a paid, like a only accessible to people who were subscribed. I don't know how to do. Well, I don't think I meet the criteria right now for a YouTube. Actually, I'm fairly certain that I do not meet the criteria. As certain as I could be, because certainty is a fool's errand, as I wrote in another song the other day. Not those exact words, but the sentiment was there. Um, anyways, um, so now because I do not meet the YouTube eligibility criteria for monetizing or like having a paid subscription, which is fine. I understand I've not put in the time on YouTube, so that's what I'm doing now. And y'all are getting some bonus. Guess not really bonus, but it was gonna be bonus content. But y'all are getting this for I don't know. For for I mean, I guess it's free. It's costing time, so thank you for spending your time with me, um, and thank you for your grace while I figure out how to talk to a camera um, in a way that feels real and not performative. Um, yeah, so the inside the song the is a sister series to the behind the song. In the behind the song series, I talk more about what like the events in my life that led up to the song. And in the inside the song, we get into the actual. I got the lyrics here to every tree, um, and I just want to share, um, my own personal interpretations of certain lines. I'll read through the entire lyrics. I might not say something. Some of my lyrics might be fairly self-explanatory. Some of them might be extremely nonsensical or seem nonsensical. Um, I do my best not to box myself into any one way of being. So that seems to result in many. What I've told people in the past is I'm consistently inconsistent. Um, and I seem to be consistent about that. Anyways, let's get into every tree. If you haven't already watched the live demo or the behind the song, I encourage you to check those out. Uh, you're welcome to watch this video first, but it it might feel a bit boring if you haven't heard the song. Um, might help to contextualize these lyrics for you. So if you feel like checking those out, now would be a good time to go do that. Yeah, a little bit of background. This song overall um, is about being there for ourselves, and knowing when to Well, it's about, I guess, about attuning to our own needs and embracing individuality, um, and compassion. And beyond that, I'll let you make your own interpretations. Anyways, um, starts off, spurred by debt, the heart deliriously beats the chest. Spurred by, in my case, I wrote this on a bit of an Adderall bender, and the debt I was referring to was sleep debt, and the heart deliriously beating the chest was referring to my elevated heart rate and feeling delirious, like feeling like that. Sometimes in those states, I've I've felt like a jester, like a clown, like very goofy, delirious. Next lines: foggy mirrors may appear to test the mind eye's sight. Foggy mirrors being, those could refer to different challenges we're facing. Like a challenge might mirror to you what areas you are maybe less skilled than you would like to be. Or maybe the foggy mirrors refer to a person in your life, a person who's reflecting to you what areas you could gain patience in, or understanding. That's something that I've had to work hard at, to develop patience. And I find that focusing on, by practicing radical self-acceptance and learning to be patient with myself, that seems to have trickled into other areas. But anyways, I'm getting a bit off topic. The mind eye's sight. The mind eye. Like, what are we thinking about? I guess I don't need to I'm learning balance. So thank you for, if anything I say seems like, yeah, like no shit, fair. I'm figuring things out. So thanks for being here. The next verse, that was the first verse, and then the second verse starts, graceless steps beg their soul, SOLE, creator, take a rest. Graceless steps. I was thinking of like those sorts of steps we take when we're like in a rush, when we're feeling rushed, when we're taking heavy steps, and we're maybe not showing ourselves grace. And it's like those steps are, they could be seen as a subconscious plea to slow down. At least for me, when I get into that state, sometimes I'll notice the sound of my footsteps sounds heavy, and I'll clue myself into, like, oh, I'm in a mood, or I'm in a state right now, like, because I just heard the steps. Anyways, next line: much ado about to-dos can stress the branches of your mind. And here I was kind of, I said mind, but really what I was referring to, I think, I wrote this about a year ago, so, and my memory is not necessarily the most reliable. Not that memory is reliable to begin with, but much ado about to-dos can stress the branches of your mind. At this time I was right. I was feeling very pressured by societal influence to put out, like, to be accomplishing a certain amount of stuff, like for music. But you might be able to relate to other areas of your life. It's like the keeping up with the Joneses. Like, you see someone else is doing this much work, and it's hard to feel good about the amount that you're doing, when you feel like you could be doing more. But sometimes I'm finding is, uh, sometimes um, the key to really doing meaningful work that actually moves that actually moves me closer to where I want to be. Sometimes that kind of work happens. I mean, oftentimes that that's the work that happens slowly. Um, I'm learning. And then we go to the chorus. Lights go out. Don't hold your breath when you hit the ground. Sigh out. Every tree that falls makes sound. I'm going to start doing it that way. That feels more flowy, like reading it the full section, and then I can go back through line by line. See, I'm figuring this out. This is the first line by line breakdown I've done of lyrics, especially of any, but of my own particularly. Um, Lights go out. Actually, I wrote that line for something else, that I didn't end up doing anything with, and I kind of just thought I had that. There's a video somewhere where I'm like jamming over the riff. If you have heard the song, and you can hear the chorus part, like it's just like the. That's not how I play it usually at the last part, but also I got carried away once I started. I was like, oh, I have to play the whole section. But anyways, I wrote that, and lights go out. I'm not entirely sure what that is referring to. It feels like a metaphor for something, but I don't know. If you have any ideas, if that means something to you, I would love to hear your own interpretation of, what lights are going out, or what lights that have gone out in your life does this line remind you of. I would love to know if you feel like sharing. Don't hold your breath when you hit the ground. That's sort of a nod to like how I used to I used to hold my breath sometimes, or I would stop breathing when I was feeling anxious, especially like in social settings, but even by myself, I would, if I was feeling worked up about some, I don't know, really could have been anything. I really had a low stress tolerance for a long time, and only in the last year, in the last few years, I've been working to expand that. But in the last year, it's really gotten, I would say, made significant strides in remembering how to breathe. And actually, um, yeah, intentional work with plant with earth medicines, has been very helpful to me in remembering to breathe in stressful scenarios. But that's a topic for another video. Don't hold your breath when you hit the ground. hitting the ground being hitting an obstacle maybe, or hitting any sort of sticking point, a bump in the road. Sigh out. When when our exhales, from what I recall, learning in a methods of human health assessment lab I took in school, um, heart rate variability is the amount of this isn't going to be like a medically accurate definition, I don't think, but essentially heart rate variability is your heart's ability to slow down and speed up, and that slowing down and speeding up is associated with your breath. So when your heart is when you're inhaling, your heart rate is speeding up, and when you're exhaling, your heart rate is slowing down. So when your heart rate is elevated to an uncomfortable rate, it can be lowered intentionally by making one's exhales longer than your inhales. So like something I often practice when I'm walking is inhaling for 4 steps or seconds and exhaling for 8. So inhale for 4 count, exhale for an 8 count, and that in theory brings down the heart rate. So sigh out. Every tree that falls makes sound. You matter, I matter, we all matter. And yeah, we all matter. Enough said. Be aware. The weight you carry varies when you wear a different suit to suit the different stares of familiar eyes. Pay attention to how you feel around different people. Do you feel more authentic around some people? And do you feel like you're performing around others? Because I used to always be performing, and it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision to modify my behavior out of like thoughtful consideration for someone else's well-being or mental health. It was like I see that now as a valid reason for me to maybe perform a little bit sometimes. And I don't really think perform is the right word there, but I got distracted by putting my foot up. I was just like, damn, that feels good. And then I lost my train of thought. But when oh yeah, so I used to perform not out of consideration and like not out of a desire for the other person to feel comfortable, but it was out of a desire for myself to feel accepted. Or really, I guess a desire to be accepted. Or really like a desire to connect. But something I've learned is that some people I'll click with, some people I won't click with, and I don't need to connect with everybody. I believe that I could connect with anybody on some level, but some people are not open to connecting in the ways that I choose to connect. Something that I connected over for a long time was negativity. And friends and I, like a lot of our bonding might have involved putting others down, whether it was putting down a sports team or sports players or musicians or people we knew. Um, that was a way that we connected, and I look back now on that experience as a time when I really had not accepted myself. I held a lot of resentment towards myself, and there was a lot of self-loathing, and I've come to realize that as um, a sort of a natural result of actions being misaligned from values. Um, and I had not, for a long time, my actions were not in alignment with what I now consider to be my truest values. For a long time, I was acting on impulse and doing what felt good in the moment and not thinking about the consequences of those actions and what implications they might have on myself and others in the future. So that was a lot. That was a loaded verse for sure. But yeah, something I've something I've realized is when you wear a different suit to suit the different stares of familiar eyes, that that's a weight on it's been a weight on me in the past, and it's freeing. I cannot express enough how freeing it feels to stop giving a shit what other people think, or stop needing the validation from other people. Because I guess it's not that I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I do on some level, but at the end of the day, I feel comfortable in my skin. I feel safe in my body, and I don't feel like I need to compromise my own authentic expression of self to conform to what I think someone else's expectations of me might be, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's keep it going. This is like a little different chorus. Find your crowd where heavy laughs won't weigh you down. Sigh out. Every tree that falls makes sound. Find your crowd where heavy laughs won't weigh you down. Those are the kinds of laughs that might have been heard in response to putting someone else down or making some hurtful joke or comment. Or I guess, I don't know. Yeah, making hateful comments or just ignorance, or like jokes and comments shared out of ignorance, just like trying to get a reaction. Just that's the kind of stuff that I used to do a lot of, is just saying something potentially offensive just to get a laugh or just to get a reaction out of someone. Not necessarily. I personally, I don't recall ever saying anything offensive. Well, I'm sure I have. But like I wasn't the type to go around spouting hate speech to whoever to get reactions out of whoever. Some people do seem to do that. I was more of the approach of like trying to say something to make my friends laugh, and that's the kind of thing that when I really took the time to self-reflect on who do I want to be in this world, what do I value, what do I think is important, what matters to me, I realized that I don't want to connect over negativity. I don't want to put people down. I want to uplift people. And yeah, when I let go of those, and also I guess a heavy laugh doesn't necessarily, like, it could, I think actually, um, I think I was just explaining it from the perspective of like talking about the one making the jokes, but there's also heavy laughs for the ones who are on the receiving end of those sorts of jokes. Those are the heavy laughs also I think I was referring to, when someone, like, say your friend makes a joke that's a bit ignorant or distasteful, um, and in the past I hadn't learned how to engage in conflict, and um, I've gotten a lot better at meeting conflict. But in the past, if I heard something questionable from a friend, the chances of me really standing up for something were fairly low for a while, because I had not, before I had found my voice, or unlocked my throat chakra, unblocked. If you're, if that's the language you speak. But yeah, I've been in that position where I've felt like, oh, I want this person to like me. Like, we're friends. Like, I want them to like me. I don't want to hurt their feelings. And maybe there was that amount of conscious thought that went into the laugh. Probably not. It was probably that, I think that thought process was happening on a much more rapid and subconscious level. But that, I think, is the thought process that was going on when I really slowed down enough to notice why I was doing the things that I was doing. Notice why I was doing these things that felt shitty, and why I continued to do them. And a lot of it came down to I just hadn't thought about it. I hadn't reflected on it. I hadn't been honest with myself. And I hadn't learned to forgive myself. Yeah, moving on. Now we got the last couple choruses. Lights go out. Don't hold your breath when you hit the ground. Stay down. Lick your wounds, then breathe and count. So that's about the same as the first one, but the only difference is that last line is lick your wounds, then breathe and count. That's something I like doing, and I like hearing it in songs, is when like a chorus has the same lyrics for most of the chorus repeats, and then like one line is different. That kind of perks my ears up when I hear it. Plus, as a writer, I think it's just helpful for creating variety, but also like getting to make additional points that feel valid, because I have a lot to say, if you hadn't already gathered that. But the lick your wounds, then breathe and count, what I was getting at is, oh, actually that stay down was different that time too. Before I said sigh out, like sigh out, let go. But stay down, it's like, if you're down, it's okay. Let yourself stay down as long as you need to. Like, that's what I was getting at there. Lick your wounds, cry. If you gotta cry, cry. If you gotta scream, scream. You gotta punch something that will not hurt you or anyone else. I like my mattress or pillows. I say like in the present tense, like I actively. It's been probably over a year since I threw a tantrum. Maybe like 10 months, but I was, yeah. At one point on my healing journey, I I found throwing tantrums really helpful for releasing stored up um, crud, like stored up bad juju. Not really bad. It's not bad. It just is. But storing those uncomfortable emotions like resentment and anger, um, those almost scary ones. Like I've felt scared of them because I've been like, I don't know what I'm. I can understand why we don't, like, I didn't allow myself to feel those emotions for a long time. I repressed a lot of my anger because I was afraid of what I might do if I allowed myself to feel it. And what I've learned is that there are ways to feel these feelings and move through them safely. Yeah, and it's important that we feel our feelings fully to really let go of them and move past them, because if we don't feel our feelings fully, they get stuck in our body somewhere. That's my understanding of, I believe there's data coming out that suggests that there might be a link between unprocessed trauma and chronic illnesses such as fibromyalgia. I suspect that there's going to be data coming out about links between unprocessed trauma and things like Alzheimer's. Um, I'm not sure what, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Or if you do, make sure you emphasize how uncertain I am of that or of what the data says on that. But I suspect that's my theory, because yeah, I read, if this talk about trauma and through a medical lens is interesting to you, I have a book recommendation. The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. Reading that book really, it changed the way that I viewed my healing and my trauma, and it really helped me to come to terms with a lot of the feelings that I experienced as someone who experienced a significant amount of minor traumas throughout early life. So if you're learning to, if you're healing or if you're thinking about healing from trauma, The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, I highly recommend reading. And so lick your wounds, then breathe and count. The breathe and count part is a nod to meditation, because meditation has been a lifesaver for me. Meditation I see as the most effective ADHD treatment I've tried. I meditate every day, and and one way that I meditate is by breathing and counting the breaths. So that's what that line was about. But I mean, if you're interested in meditation, there's a lot that I could say about meditation. I think we should all meditate. I think the world would be a better place if we all meditated. And I think we would all probably find some greater peace and greater I think we would find more peace and let go of more stress if we meditated. And it's hard. It was hard for me to get started, and it took a couple of years at least of really sporadically consistent efforts to develop a practice. But at this point, I meditate almost every day. and it's somewhat rare that I miss a day. And even when I do, if I miss my morning seated meditation session, I consider meditation to be anything that we're doing that we're fully present for. So it's possible to do walking meditation. Playing an instrument can be a form of meditation. Singing can be a form of meditation. The example that really seared that concept into my understanding is that anything that we're doing that we're fully present for, where we're feeling our body, that is meditation. If you're going to the bathroom and you're feeling the sensations associated with that action, that is meditation. You are meditating. And yeah, I am sorry. Thank you for letting me, I almost said sorry there, but thank you for sticking with me through my soapbox rant about meditation, because if you had not guessed, I feel very passionately about the importance and the benefit of meditation and self-reflection. And I've heard of some people feeling averse to try, like, I've talked to people who have experienced meditation in one way and decided that it wasn't for them. And I'm not sure that that's fair to, I'm not sure that's really fair to yourself, if that's you, because there are so many different ways to meditate, and it's been around. Whatever issues you have with meditation, there are ways to address those challenges and make, this is not what this video is about. So thank you for sticking with me. Last chorus: sigh out, don't hold your breath when you hit the ground, stay down, every tree that falls makes sound. That time it was kind of an amalgamation of all the previous choruses, but yeah, that really just driving the point home. Let yourself feel what you need to feel, and no one else can tell you what you should be feeling. No one else can tell you what's best for you. They can tell you, but they're not going to be right. They're not going to know what's best for you, because only you know what's best for you. And others might have, and I'm not, maybe I should add a little disclaimer, medical professionals, it's worth considering what they have to say. It's worth taking in that input. But we're all human, and we all make mistakes. And learning to trust myself, to trust my own judgment, and just learning to trust myself has been a long process of just trial and error and making mistakes. And I think something that's really helped me learn to trust myself has been accepting and understanding that mistakes are just part of the process. Actually, one second. This is my surf calendar by Ed Obermeyer. surf photographer in Virginia Beach. Cool dude. There's a quote on the back of this. It says, "There are no mistakes, just changes in direction." And here's a calendar if you want to check that out. I don't know how it's showing up. I film on my phone, so I can't see the framing. But there are no mistakes, just changes in direction. And I like that notion. Also, since I'm shouting out local people, this is my Last Fair Deal shirt. If you're a Grateful Dead fan in the Hampton Roads area, I highly recommend checking out Last Fair Deal if you get a chance. They've got 2 drummers, and personally, for me, that just adds a lot to the experience. But yeah, I think that about covers what I wanted to say and more. Thank you. If you're still watching, I truly appreciate you being here with me now. And I would love to hear any feedback you have for me, whether that's in the comments or you could send me an email. However you want to contact me, I'd love to hear from you. If you are not subscribed already, I would greatly appreciate you doing so. And that would really help me build community and build this channel to something that can help make a difference in people's lives. And I want to touch as many lives as possible. So your engagement with this video really does help me actualize that vision. Liking this video, clicking the thumbs up, turning on post notifications, the little bell icon next to the subscribe thing if they're not already, commenting, and clicking share and sending this video to someone, or even if you don't want to send this, if there's no one that comes to mind for you who might enjoy this video or who might benefit from this video, then even just clicking the share button and then clicking copy link tells the YouTube algorithm that people are interested in this video, and that helps to tell the algorithm to show the video to more people. And yeah, right now I'm in the early stages of building this channel, and I really need all the help that I can get. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. You are seen and valued and truly appreciated. Thank you. Peace and love.